Views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Monday in the Riv, and we got our big show today. We got a lot to talk about your money. So let's get it on.
Okay.
CJ.
Well, for those who don't know, on December 22nd, the Diamond School Board approved the construction of a new school building. Under Chapter 71, Section 16D and 16N, the cities and towns have 60 days in which to get approval from the cities and towns in the school district. Here's what's happened so far. Swansea has said we're not doing anything. Westport has said we're not doing anything. Somerset is sending it to the town meeting, and Fall River actually hasn't been notified legally. Here's what happened.
Wow.
And people say this may be Diamond trying to pull a fast one.
You mean like the mayor did at one time?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly what the mayor did.
Right. So here's what happened. Instead of the notification being sent to the city council, as is required by Chapter 71, the letter, which, by the way, we have the letter, from Dr. Olivio Ferreira, the Superintendent Director of Diamond, was sent the Honorable Paul Coogan, 1 Government Center, Fall River, Mass. 02722. He quotes sections of law of special acts of 1962, which do not pertain to Diamond. They pertain to another regional school district. But they keep using that. So maybe they can. Maybe that's the precedent.
They're going to try to use it as a precedent.
Right,
probably.
that's what I said, as a precedent.
Yep.
But the Greater Fall River School District hereby appropriates the amount of $293,479,760 for the purposes of paying costs of designing, engineering, constructing, and equipping the new Diamond Regional Vocational Technical High School and related athletic facilities. Remember the athletic facilities boggle at Durfee?
That's right, the athletic facility. They always have to get Newtonian stuff with your money.
Right.
And I love the way they determine how they're going to spend our money. Now we don't even have our politicians determining it. We've got regional politicians and regional school boards. So
now here's what happens. Because they voted, it says here, further voted that within 7 days from the date on which this vote is adopted by the Secretary, be and hereby is instructed to notify the City Council of the city and the Board of Selectmen of each town comprising the district as to the amount and general purposes of the debt herein authorized as required by the district agreement and Chapter 703, Section 6D of the Acts of 1962, which they still believe is the wrong section of special acts. Yeah. Now, here's the debacle, the big debacle. As I said, this letter was addressed to the mayor, not to the city council, who is responsible for approving it. Not to the city council, who is responsible for approving it.
Not to the city council who appropriates money, the legislative branch.
Exactly.
By law, by the way.
Exactly. They sent it to the executive branch.
Executive branch, that's right.
Without a carbon copy being sent to the city council. So even if they had sent a carbon copy to the city council.
If this is a true and accurate copy, there is
yes, it is.
There is no
That's the letter.
There is no CC at the bottom of this letter.
Exactly.
I don't see any CCs. So
right. So here's the big problem. Did the city council receive notification properly? According to the city council president, no. She believes, as does corporate counsel, that the city council was not notified appropriately as required by law. I would tend to agree with them. Okay? So on December 15th, Diamond had 120 days to secure approval of the project moving forward. Okay, I was wrong. It was 120 days. Mm-hmm. February 15th, 120-day April 15th. Construction was sent to the communications. That is for the approval necessary from the cities and towns, not the requirement of the cities and towns. The cities and towns was 60 days. And as a matter of fact, that date is February 14th, Valentine's Day. You know, so some people, they always get screwed on Valentine's Day. We had a Valentine's Day massacre, remember?
That's right.
So this is what's happening with your money. We would ask that you contact your city councilors immediately and tell them to vote down this project so the voters of the district can get a say in it. Because what happens is, under Chapter 71, if any district says no, any district, it goes to a general vote of the entire district.
Let's be the ones.
So we would add, the only two districts which haven't done, two members of the district that haven't done anything are Fall River and Somerset. Somerset is sending it to their town meeting for their voters to decide on. Oh, imagine that. Somebody's doing what the voters should decide on.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't it?
Well, you know, I'm looking at this, and obviously this whole thing is, you, on the last show, I believe you explained that the three options they had, and one is if they did nothing, you know, you got that 60-day deal, and then they can do it just as Coogan did. But let me just reiterate something. The mayor should be on the side of giving this to the voters. When we did the Durfee, they put it on the ballot.
Right.
And he allowed the people, and then people who are, you know, not anti-education, but some of them are, but some of them are just anti-spending money that you don't have, and you have to live within your means for a while, and then maybe do it a little later, or do it with a little, you know, a little less, making it a little less rich. And I believe that, look, we're talking about $293,479,760. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That is in excess of $250 million.
And that doesn't include cost overruns.
And that does not include cost overruns and stuff. So, you know, it's not anti-education. And the mayor, who wasn't the mayor then, was a school committeeman, you know, stood across from us and debated about that, and they convinced the people of Fall River to accept this debt override, which they will be sorry for, just as we predicted with the charter. However, that's the right way to do it. And you know, we put it on a ballot, and then people who were opposed to it, like us, not the fact that we needed a building. It's not. Let's make this perfectly clear. We're not saying that Diamond couldn't use a new facility. We're not saying that. What we're saying is, as we said on the last show, if I've got to spend $15,000 on a new roof or $20,000 on a new roof, I can't go out and buy a car for a year or two. I cannot go out and put a new addition in my house or renovate the kitchen because I can't afford it. Well, the people of Fall River, not the rich people of Fall River, but the majority of people in Fall River, the renters, the people of average income, are now absorbing regular tax increases, regular fee increases, and now we're going to get hit with a debt override for Durfee. Do we really need this? You know, the thing is, let's be, you know, I'm a pragmatist. I'm not an optimist or a pessimist. I'm a pragmatist. Look, most of the people in the burbs, Somerset, Swansea, Westport, probably make an income enough, and they don't have a debt override to contend with, and they probably make more money. If you put it on a ballot, it'll probably pass anyway. But you know something? At least people will say they got their say. And that's what these people are there for. They are not dictators. They represent us. And when we spend this much money, isn't it ironic that anything over $5 million used to have to go on a ballot? Then they tried to bump it up to $10 million, and Sahadi tried to justify that. $10 million, this is $293 million. We shouldn't get a say? The people shouldn't say, okay, we're going to take the hit. And guess what? If you put Somerset, Swansea, Westport, and all the people who vested interest in Fall River, I would predict it would go through on the ballot. But this is a matter of principle. The people who are paying the bills should get a say. And then if you get outvoted, you know, that's the way it is. I'm not happy that Brandon's the president of the United States. But the fact is, he is, and you got to live with it. You don't have to be happy about it. You know, he's destroying a nation, but that's, you know, we'll see what happens again. You just go and do what we always do. We give our opinion. We debate the issue on its merits. This looks like an end around. The whole thing, school departments, we talked about the Baltimore schools and their bull about it's punitive to flunk people. No, it isn't. It's punitive to put people into society who are not prepared to have a functional life because they read at a kindergarten level. But school departments, and I think we should highlight this education reform stuff, they've made them a privileged class. Some of these laws supersede state laws because schools with this education reform have been given not just autonomy, they have been given a blank check and carte blanche in many cases. And this is ridiculous. You got some people from a school, this is like, this is like Loudoun County. They cover up 2 rapes, but they're gonna arrest children who come onto the property without a mask. You know, they got absolute power. We've lost our compass here somewhere about, you know, who actually is running this state. And I would defer to the Constitution of Massachusetts that we always state, part of the first Section 5, which says all these people, all magistrates and elected officials in the state of Massachusetts are at all times answerable to the people, and they are their substitutes and agents. They are not the boss. We are the boss. And when you're going to spend $293 million, the mayor should be telling the city council that he supports a no vote to put it in the hands of the people who are going to pick up the tab.
I agree. See, here's the problem that we have. This is the period of time when everybody wants a new school. Somerset has a new school. They're now looking at building a new school and combining the district for elementary and middle schools with Berkeley. So it'll be Somerset Berkeley, and they want a new school there. And this is why Somerset is sending this to town meeting, because they know they're already got a debt exclusion running, and the citizens are paying for it. Do they want another one? Yeah. And they may have a third one.
Yeah.
Do they want to do that? So, you know, the selectmen in Somerset said, no, we're not doing this. It goes to the city, goes to the town meeting, and let them decide.
Yeah, good. It's a good deal. Remember, it's a good deal.
Well, here's how Diamond is trying to spin this. According to a conversation that was held between our station manager and Dr. Ferreira, was that even if this gets shot down by the cities and towns, Diamond still has to spend money on repairs and upkeep that is not reimbursable by the MSBA. And as such, it's going to be borne by the cities and towns on a whole. Now, here's one of the big issues that they have. Their building is not totally ADA compliant. And because it's not ADA compliant, they have an issue.
Yeah, but they've had that issue forever.
Exactly.
And this is the con they always run.
Exactly.
The state's going to come down and take over. We're going to go to jail. We're going to be in this. We have to do this. Well, again, we had a school that was 40 years old that was falling apart. That was supposed to be a state-of-the-art school 40 years ago. And we're seeing a school that's brand new that's already, we're getting reports that it's already in disrepair.
Right.
It's already being gutted from the inside. Graffiti, damage to the facility.
Locked doors.
And again, locked doors. We don't we do not maintain, even though we got a maintenance department, we have a maintenance superintendent in the school department, we have all these things, apparently they don't maintain anything in the entire city. How many times have you ever seen a city building that they didn't say was a total disaster and a total state of disrepair? You've never seen a building that the city owns that they said, well, we can just sell this right on the market, get top dollar, because this building is pristine. It's like an antique car that was housed out in the desert where there's no rock salt and no body rot, no nothing. It looks like the day it rolled out of the showroom in 1950. No, every building we got is a total disaster because there's never any maintenance. They gave us money twice to fix the roof of the Bank Street Armory. It never got fixed, or it didn't get fixed the right way. So this is the con. Well, guess what? You've had, well, how long have the ADA laws been in effect? Yeah, forever. So they haven't been ADA compliant for years. So now all of a sudden it becomes a problem when it suits them to get money out of our pockets. And like you said, everybody's lining up for schools now because they know, they're not stupid. That's why education reform should be reformed. They're not stupid. They realize that in another year or two, we're going to be tanked. This economy is toast. This inflation's not going to stop.
Right.
Everybody's going to be broke. The dollar's not going to be worth anything, and they're not going to be able to get anything through because people aren't going to have 2 nickels to rub together in a couple of years in this state. So they're pushing everything they can, and it's always it's a good deal, 23, and we get 2 million, and we get 23 million for 2. No, it's not a great deal. It's a great deal on paper. But if they got a Kobe hamburger on sale for $12 and you got $2, that may be a great deal. But you can't take advantage of that deal because you just don't have the money. We're dealing with a bunch of elitists who think they run the show. Again, they're figuring out ways to market it already. But you know something? Let the people decide. Hopefully Swansea will shoot it down. Fall River will shoot it down.
Swansea and Westport have already approved it by default. They're not doing anything because there's 3 ways to approve it. Either the city council or the selectmen.
Oh, is it Somerset that's having a town
Somerset's having
I'm
a
sorry, I
town meeting.
apologize.
Yeah, no.
I knew it started with an S. all those suburbs, they kind of like blend into each other. They both. So Somerset let's hope that they do the right thing because you cannot supersede the fact that the people of this state supposedly run the state. And I know they don't believe that. And they've proven they don't believe it, even up to the federal level. But this is outrageous. We're going to get hammered again. Your heating bills are up. The gas is going to continue to go up. Everything's going to go up. They're going to push like hell right now because they know if they wait a year or two, and all these people never ask the questions, the whys. We're not ADA compliant. Why? Why aren't we ADA compliant? Were there ADA regulations last year, the year before, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? The answer to that question is yes. So why didn't Diamond do something about ADA compliances when the ADA regulations were passed eons ago? They didn't. Because they get to ignore the laws until it becomes beneficial to them to say, we're not compliant, so we're going to have to spend all this money. Why? Why didn't you do it before? Somebody has to ask these questions because the people who are going to pay this bill are not going to be able to pay it. We're going to see renters thrown out. We're going to see people just go broke. We're in for a very, very, I hate to kind of paraphrase Brandon, that we're in for a dark dark period, not just a winter, but a couple of years, the way we're going. And I just looked at this quickly, and I passed that over. Wow, look at the day they held the meeting, December 16th. That's the day that shall live in infamy.
Right, and yeah, we know. It was your birthday gift. How's that?
That's right. It's not only my birthday, but that was the day that the Battle of the Bulge started in World War II. So
now here's the thing. You'll notice that this letter is dated December 22nd.
Yep.
They are required by law to notify the city council, not the mayor.
That's
the
right.
city council within 7 days. And the 22nd, that's 6 days after the vote.
Yep.
So they waited till the last minute to send
Well, they
this out.
mailed it on the 22nd.
Right.
Unless they brought it by Pony Express and hand-delivered it.
But again, they waited till the last minute to
course.
send this out.
Well, that's what they do. You know, well, CJ, we know that's the way they always do things.
Right.
It's always about marketing and selling, and oh, don't worry, the debt override won't be here till 23, and they tried to get it in a couple of years, but political pressure kind of pushed it away. But now this, you know, this whole thing, this fiasco, how anybody can have such an exemption from the political process as school departments do, where they get to do things like this, where if the people don't have to speak and they automatically get everything they want, they
Right.
can spend over $250 million, and if they play political games, sit on it, don't do anything about it, they automatically get it. Does that mean if I decide not to pay my mortgage, it automatically gets paid? No. Nobody gets to do this. Nobody gets to do this except schools. Education reform has to be reformed. Because this is the problem. This is outrageous. The people can speak, and then we can still, well, not that CJ and I won't complain, continue to complain. We will, like we do about the charter. We told you so.
It's not like we get paid to complain.
Yeah, the charter sucks, and everybody knows it, but we told you so. We told you this Durfee debt override was going to bite you in the butt, and it will.
In June.
And we're going to tell you that this debt override is going to bite you in the butt, but guess what? We've been in this game a long time. The majority rules. If the people speak, you don't have to agree. But the fact is, the process has been satisfied. The process should be that the people who the Constitution of this state say are in charge actually weigh in on this particular issue.
All right, no argument from me, none whatsoever. Now, according to my conversations via text, which I have them all here, with members of our elected bodies, and a conversation I had with the council president, they are going to schedule an emergency meeting if the Diamond School Committee does not revote this issue on Thursday. Because the last day for them to approve or disapprove is Valentine's Day, the 14th, Valentine's Day Massacre. So we will find out. So they will schedule it. Now, here's the funny thing. They'll have a meeting on Monday, and then they'll have a meeting on Tuesday. So,
yeah. Well,
and in the emails that accompanied this letter, they wanted, now tell me that this isn't really putting the screw job to the city of Fall River. Diamond wanted to make a presentation to the city council on the 15th of February, the day after the final vote. And even at that, it's going to be sent to finance on the meeting on the 22nd. So they're still out of the loop.
yeah, well, it's
This is how they were
after
gonna
the
sell
deed
it.
is done.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like having a trial after the conviction.
Right.
So let's have a trial. After the convict, we'll convict them and then we'll give them a trial.
Right.
That's kind of like what they do in China.
But again, they're already starting the same mantra that we heard
Yeah.
from Paul Coogan, all right, for the New Durfee. It's for the kids. We're going to have to pay for the repairs if we don't build a new school. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, it's the same. Oh yeah. Well, he's actually exactly the same. The only difference is just change the names.
Right.
Interchangeable. Diamond, Durfee,
Right.
the kids, the school's in disrepair. And again, those questions were not asked. Why is the school this bad? Didn't we have a maintenance budget for 40 years? Didn't we pay a superintendent in charge of maintenance? Don't we have an entire maintenance division in the school department and a department of community maintenance that by statute, it doesn't stipulate except school buildings. If you read our ordinances, it says that all buildings, public buildings in the city of Fall River, shall be maintained by the Department of Community Maintenance. I believe the old ordinance said Department of Public Works.
Right.
Fact is that we've got not one, but two entities in charge of maintaining buildings. So did anybody ever ask? We did at the debates. But the fact is, here we go again. Diamond's not compliant with ADA. Why not? We've had ADA, I can't even remember when the ADA laws were passed.
I think it's 30 years now.
Yeah, it's like 30 years ago. So we've been in non-compliant for 30 years and nobody complained. But now when they need something, it's, oh yeah, we have to fix it right away because somebody from the EPA is going to come down. Well, I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't know. The EPA can't come down to Fall River. They can't. They have to be invited. I know. I testified in Washington, D.C. in front of the EPA on violations of some of the statutes. I went down and testified in front of the EPA with some of the other members of the union leadership at the time. And I was told, which was an amazing surprise to me, that the head of the EPA, who's appointed by the President of the United States, can't come to Fall River without an invitation. That's how these systems are created. They're all bureaucracies. And the other thing I was told was, after we proved there were violations, they said, yep, you're right, there are violations. I said, what are you going to do about it? They said, well, we're going to send them a letter. So what do you mean send them a letter? They said, well, there was only one problem. You got 5,000 pages of regulations, and in Washington, D.C., they forgot the Sarah title, whatever it was, but they forgot to pass penalties. They created all these laws, and there were no penalties attached. So they couldn't do anything to them anyway, except send them a letter that they were non-compliant. So this is your government at work. So, and I had something to read from my Untold Story of Labor.
Go ahead.
Quickly? All right, I gotta, remember I always tell you about Richie Riches and just how quickly it goes. Okay, remember, I'm reading this verbatim now. I quote it, paraphrase it a lot. But this is from the 1800s. And here's the Untold Story of Labor. Great book, read it. You can see the backs all gargoyles because I've had it for years. So it was that the wealthy, and they're talking about millionaires, which are like billionaires today, Frederick Townsend Martin. Wow, does that sound like a Richie Rich? Huh? What a name. Frankly declared, now this is a quote, it matters not one iota what political party is in power or what president holds the reins of office. We are not politicians or public thinkers. We are the rich. We own America. We got it, God knows how, but we intend to keep it if we can by throwing all the tremendous weight of our support, our influence, our money, our political connections, our purchased senators, our hungry congressmen, our public-speaking demagogues into the scales against any legislature, any political platform, any presidential campaign that threatens the integrity of our estate. The class I represent cares nothing about politics. In a single season, a plutocratic leader hurled his influence and his money onto the scales to elect a Republican governor on the Pacific Coast and a Democratic governor on the Atlantic Coast.
I want to thank you for watching. Remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. Call your city councils and tell them to vote no.
And remember, that's what rich people...